Daytona Beach, Florida, home to Hanksters, Hot Rods, Muscle Car, and Collector Car Showroom. And for those of you that follow us on YouTube and on our social media accounts, you already know this. But what you may not know is it is also home to Hanksters Garage, located at 2385 South Ridgewood in South Daytona, just 3 miles from our showroom. What do we do at Hanksters Garage? Well, today we have our store manager here, Nate Smith, who runs Hanksters Garage, and he's going to share with you just some of the things that we are able to do at our Hanksters Garage facility. Today, Nate is going to be presenting to you a 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle. So the particular buyer on this car, we sold him the car, and he wanted some stuff done to it. And what started as a small project turned into a rather large project. And it's a really awesome car. The look of the car, the paint, everything, all the modifications that were done to the car, a 454 crate motor. I mean, the list goes on, and Nate is going to explain all that to you here in this video presentation. So this video will be going to the owner of the car, and it will be up on our YouTube channel as well as our social media platforms such as Facebook, and we will disclose to you everything that was done to this car in this video presentation. Nate will go over it with you. But again, 2385 South Ridgewood, we're coming up here locally in Daytona Beach on the Rod Run, which Hanksters Hot Rods does sponsor. It is at the Speedway, which is also about 5 miles from our showroom, Daytona International Speedway. This Thanksgiving weekend coming up is home to the Rod Run, and you will be able to see the Hanksters Garage tent over there. So if you are local or if you are coming in for the Rod Run, please stop by and see us. We'll have a tent there, we'll have a van there, we'll have some parts there, different interior pieces on display, and you can kind of check us out and see what our capabilities are as far as modifying, altering, or accessorizing your classic car. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to Nate, and he's going to go over with you everything that was done to this fantastic 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle.
All right, again, I am Nate with Hanksters Garage. Luckily, I got to work with this customer. He is a great guy and just wanted what he wanted. Right off the bat, one of his first complaints was the hood was very hard to open. They can be hard to open on these older vehicles if they're stuck or worn out. Well, I told him, I said I would take care of him. Very lightly, just pull, and the hood literally opens by itself now. Customer's happy with that. All right, under the hood here, we have a very big crate motor, 454. And this motor was originally dynoed from the crate company at 560 horsepower. We put this on the dyno after we built it, and it put out 500 horsepower at the wheels. That means we only lost 60 horsepower through the drivetrain. That is absolutely fantastic. Obviously, we put all the right parts, everything together to work correctly. We try to make it as clean as possible. That includes the firewall all done up, and that is with air conditioning, which you can see right here. This is the air compressor for the vintage air that is blowing cold inside. That is a billet specialty serpentine system to run all the pulleys. There's power steering down here, which is running a rack and pinion steering. We'll show you that later underneath. Custom remote reservoir for the power steering with custom brackets. And then just because we wanted it to match, we did a remote reservoir for the cooling system on the other side. So matching reservoirs. Chrome cover up on the hood latch and the radiator. It's hiding an aluminum radiator with dual cooling fans. The valve covers on this were picked out by the customer and myself to look like the GM Performance crate motor. Everyone kind of thinks it's the 572, but it is just a 454, but with that same exact look. So at a car show, when you pop the hood, it's going to look like you have something, and 500 horsepower, you do. MSD ignition system, nice plug wires that are run very cleanly in between those beautiful headers. While you're down there with the headers though, you can see the rack and pinion steering, how it comes off the steering column and goes all the way down. You can even see the control arms there that are tubular upper control arms. Chrome, brake booster and master. That's powering the disc brakes front and rear. You can see these hood hinges that we were talking about. Those are hydraulic. Open up the hood real nice. Just another option that can be done on just about any car that you buy from Hanksters. All the sensors and everything is running decoded digital. That's why there's plug wires and stuff on this stuff now instead of just, mechanical sensors. This is all digitally controlled now. All right, looking at the whole vehicle from a distance here, you can see for the most part, it looks mostly stock, which is what the customer wanted. Even the wheels, they're an upgraded mag wheel, but to look like the Mag 500 originally. But it's a 15-inch aluminum wheel instead of a steel wheel. As you can see, the stance is exactly how the customer wanted it. Tucking a little bit of tire, but not like looking like that it's, too customized. It's giving it that nice stock appearance, but no, it's got business on the underside.
Okay, underneath our 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle Hanksters garage build, there has been some extensive modifications to this particular vehicle. Pretty significant amount of money spent. Very, very cool stuff. Again, this is one of our more extensive builds here at Hanksters Garage. So we will let Nate walk you through the build of this 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle.
All right, this customer wanted this thing to handle like a brand new car. So now it's got coilover adjustable suspension by RideTech, Fox shocks with that coilover system. It's got tubular control arms now, upper and lower. It's got an oversized sway bar here in the front, if you can swing around and see that, also by RideTech. Wanted it to steer just as good as a new car as well. So right here, there's a rack and pinion steering, which is the same as like what you see on new cars. Rack and pinion, not a steering box anymore. This is a rack, power steering, and it just handles the road very tight, really good. With this coilover adjustable suspension, it is adjustable. So that means we can lower the ride height or raise the ride height, giving the car that exact ride height look that the customer wanted. And I talked to him on the phone, sent him pictures, and he was like, nope, a little bit more, a little less. We got it exactly where he wanted it. Disc brakes up front, drilled and slotted rotors. Right up here in front, it's really hard to see, but it's tucked up here. That is a cooler for the transmission and the power steering unit, all in one unit with its own electric fan, AN fittings, very top of the line, braided hoses, as you can see, that goes all the way into the power steering unit itself. All custom made hoses by Hanksters Garage. This is the underside of the motor that has all that 500 horsepower that we talked about. The underside of the billet specialty serpentine system, absolutely beautiful system. Dual electric fans made by Spall, pushing more CFM through this radiator than it even needs, but I'd rather have more than not enough. You can see there's a lot of electrical sensors on this motor now. It's because it's got that decoded digital, and those take electric sensors. Moving toward the center here, we got headers that we put in as well as part of the exhaust system. Moving back a little farther, that is a brand new 700 R4 overdrive transmission. That transmission is rated to take up to 725 horsepower. It's more than enough to hold up to the 500 that this thing's pushing that we dynoed. And of course, it's got that overdrive gear, so you can drive this thing on the highway at speed and get good gas mileage at the same time, as good as it can get with a V8 with 500 horsepower though. Moving back, you can see this is a custom exhaust system with an X pipe. All stainless. It's been running, so it's kind of a discolored now stainless, but that's what happens when stainless heats up. New drive shaft to match the transmission into the new rear end that we'll talk about in a second. Moving into the mufflers though here, MagnaFlow mufflers, giving it the best power and a really, really good sound. Moving back to this rear end, this is a Curry 9-inch rear end, custom made for us, for this Chevelle, to be able to take the Ride-Tech suspension, coilover adjustables, disc brakes, and the sway bar. This thing handles very well in the rear, just as good as it does in the front. And again, adjustable suspension height, which the customer wanted to get that exact look that he wanted. The other thing this customer asked us to do, he said he did not want turn downs on this. Well, it's very tight quarters back here with this 9-inch and the coilover adjustables, but we made it happen. We bent the pipe, we made the exhaust come all the way out the back to look like it is stock. Because that was the overall goal of this build, was to look stock, but underneath be like a brand new car and handle like a brand new car, and have lots of power. Rear disc brakes as well, the same as the front, drilled and slotted rotors, making it stop just as good as it goes. And that is the underside of the 70s Chevelle.
Okay, so this particular gentleman, he actually purchased this car from us, and then several months later decided to make the modifications. He was local to us here in Florida, so we went and we picked up the car. We did the work to him, and tomorrow morning we will be delivering the car back to the customer. That is a service we can provide here at Hanksters Garage in South Daytona. If you choose to, if you're local to us, local meaning within a 1, 2, 3 hour radius, and you want customization like this done to your classic ride, we have no issues. Obviously there's a fee involved, but we have no issues coming to pick the car up, bring the car to our facility, and then redeliver the car to you once it is complete, so you won't have to handle those logistics. We can handle those for you as well. As you can see, those guys over there, they can pretty much do anything that you want to do to the car. Dakota digital dash, radios, different rear ends, different suspension setups, transmission changeouts, engine changeouts. The list goes on and on and on. 2385 South Ridgewood, South Daytona, Hanksters Garage, hankstersgarage.com. Nate was, intricate in building this particular car, so he's the one that gets to go out and drive it. We're going to set it down on the ground, and Nate's going to take you guys for a little test drive, show you how our dynoed 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle runs out, and we're going to do that right now.
All right, we got the 70 Chevelle outside now. We're going to take it for a little test drive. Inside the car, though, you can see all the things that we've done inside. Dakota digital dash, very awesome, makes it more. We have vintage air, as you can see right here, and we're going to turn it on. Light comes on, and it is blowing ice cold. Absolutely amazing. We're going to go ahead and shut that off now. Radio, custom radio done. Makes it look completely stock, but has some great sound to it. Another cool little trick that we have, kind of something we don't like to share too much, but it's pretty cool, so I'm going to show you. So we'll shut the car off. Right here is the lighter. We're just going to go ahead and push that. Back over here to start it, we got absolutely nothing. You go ahead and push the lighter again. Starts right up. That is Hanksters Garage kill switch, a little custom. All right, let's go ahead and take this thing for a drive now, see how it does. All right, we're out driving this thing. It is absolutely amazing. With all the customization that we did, that we talked about earlier, rack and pinion steering, I mean, it is just tight as all get out and very responsive. I mean, you can't beat it. Brakes, disc brakes all the way around. We'll test that when we get up here a little ways. AC still blowing cold, just totally enjoyable. This motor that we talked about earlier, 500 horsepower on the dyno. The motor itself was 560. We only lost 60 horsepower through the drivetrain. We got a 700 R4 transmission, which is an overdrive transmission. We'll run it through the gears really good up here. It's rated to hold up to 725 horsepower, so it's more than enough for this car. We're gonna come up to the light here. We'll be testing those brakes. As you can see, Dakota Digital here, cruising along at 39 miles an hour, digitally, completely accurate. All right, we're gonna test those brakes here. Just barely on them, and they are just stopping completely straight. No jerk of the wheel, no nothing. All right, coming up to a red light. And we are gonna bang it through all these gears as quickly as possible, which is very fast. All right. There's 90, 80, and still just straight as all get out, and very smooth with the suspension, handling, everything. It's got the coilover adjustable, rack and pinion steering, disc brakes, 500 horsepower. You can't beat it. I mean, it's a modern technology in an old car. Makes it a lot more enjoyable to drive. You can go anywhere in this thing and enjoy it. Hanksters Garage, we can build it. Pro Touring, just little upgrades, whatever you're looking for. I mean, this thing checked off every single box that the customer wanted, and we made it happen. Hanksters Garage, thanks.